Okay, I'm going to the handout rather, and this is number 4, and they're talking about wanting me to find 2 consecutive integers. And if I go back to my notes, just going back to my notes that I did for the last video, and it says we can represent consecutive integers by using x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. Well, they only want me to find 2, so I'm going to use x and x plus 1, the first 2. And they're also talking about sum, the sum of 2 consecutive integers. And we know that sum is one of our key words. And if you remember, sum, the sum means to add. So we're going to take that x and that x plus 1, and we're going to add them together. And when we do, we are going to get 143. So here is my equation. Let me just write this down. We're going to set up the equation, which we just did. So it's x and x plus 1, because they're wanting us to find 2 consecutive integers, is equals 143, and we want to find them. So we're going to use algebra to solve this. We've got like terms on the left-hand side. So what's an x plus an x? Well, that's 2x plus 1 equals 143. And now, if we follow our solving steps like I did in the solving videos, what would we do next? We would add or subtract to get this x alone. So I have a plus 1, I want to do the opposite, so I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So these 1's are going to go, so 2x is going to equal 142. And we're on the last step where we divide both sides by 2. And what is our first integer? I'm going to punch that right here in my calculator. So that's 142 divided by 2, and I get 71. So my first integer is 71, so x is 71. And now I want to find out, well, what's the second integer? So I'm going to take 71 and plug it in for x. So 71 plus 1 is 72. Or you could just think, well, what's the next number up for after 71? Well, it's 72. So my 2 consecutive integers are 71 and 72. And if you want to do a check, add them together and see if we get to 143. And I'm adding them together, and we do. So 71 and 72 are right. So that's number 4. And remember, you can always pause if you need to go back and look at something that I've done. I'm going to keep going with number 5. Okay. So I don't see if you can see that. Whoops. Try to get a better picture of it. Okay. the sum of two consecutive even integers, I'm going to underline that. Sum of two consecutive even integers is 230. Find the two even integers. Okay, we're going to write the equation, and again we're looking for the sum, so we know that we're going to be using addition to do this. And I'm going to look at my notes, and I can see that I can use, since I'm talking about consecutive evens, I can use x, x plus 2, x plus 4. How many do I want? I want the sum of 2, so I'm going to use x and x plus 2. I'm going to use the first two. So I'm going to use x and x plus 2 as part of my equation. So x plus, because I want the sum, equals 230. Are you okay with the equation? X and x plus 2 equals 230 because I'm finding two consecutive evens. In the last one we use x and x plus 1, but those were just consecutive. These are consecutive evens. So can we solve this? X and x is 2x plus 2. I'm just combining like terms. And I'm going to solve this. And if I follow my steps, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So 2x, these cancel out or go out. And 230 minus 2 is 228. So I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to start up here. 2x equals 228. The last step is dividing both sides by 2. So let's see what the first integer is. I'm going to bring my calculator in again. So 228, let's make sure I can see that, divided by 2 is 114. So my first integer is 114. Okay, so that's x. And now we know x is 114. What's 114 plus 2? Well, 114 plus 2 is 116. So I know my two integers are 114, whoops, and 116 are the two integers. And if we add those two together, we would get 230, and they are evens, and they are evens that are consecutive, that come one right after the other. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, how are we doing so far? Let's go to number 6. Can we see number 6? Okay, let me stop right there. So now we're talking about odds. And we've got the sum of 3, not 2, but 3 consecutive odds. So we're doing the sum again, so we know we're going to be adding, and we're doing 3 consecutive odds. So let's see, I'm going to come back to my sheet or my notes that I had on this. So consecutive odd, again I'm going to use the same formula or the same algebraic expressions, and I'm going to be using x, x plus 2, and x plus 4 because they're asking me for 3. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to be adding them together. So x plus x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals 230. and 61. So that's my equation. And I'm adding them together because I want the sum. So, do I have any like terms? Anything I can simplify on the left-hand side? So I've got x's and numbers. So what's x plus x plus x? Let me underline those. Or 1x plus 1x plus 1x is 3x. And then I've got a 2 and a 4 that I can put together because those are like terms. Those are both numbers. So 2 plus 4 is just 6. And that's going to come out to be 261. So I've got 3x plus 6 equals 261. Okay, I'm going to keep solving. What's my next step? If you said subtract 6, you're right. So these cancel out. And I'm going to get 3x equals 255. I'm going to make that, I'm going to borrow, make that an 11, and make that a 5. Let me draw a line here. So 3x equals 255. And last step, I'm dividing both sides by 3. So let me get out my calculator again, clear that out. 255 divided by 3 is 85. So my x is going to be 85. Okay. So my first odd integer is 85. Do you know what the x plus 2 will equal? If I take 85 and add 2, because of this right here, x plus 2 is the next odd integer. 85 plus 2 is 87. And maybe you already know that. If you go up another 2, or if you go up to the next odd integer from 85, it would be 87. And if I go up following that pattern, if I go up another 2, what's 87 plus 2? If I'm going up, I get 89. So my integers are, my 3 consecutive odds are 85, 87, and 89. And if we take those and check that and add all of those 3 together, I'm going to do that on the calculator. I'm going to take 85, 87, 85, plus 87, plus 89, add them together, and I'm going to get 261, which is what I want to get. So it does work, it does check. Instead of this 87 plus 2, I just want to say one more thing. You could have taken the 85, because 85 is the x, and you could have added the 85 plus 4 and got the 89. So either way you want to do that is okay. Okay, so that's the end of 2.6a, which was very, very long. Sorry about that. But we're going to go on to 7 and the rest of the handout. So in the next video, I will start with page 3, bottom of page 3, number 7. Okay?